Hello, this is Dr. Alana James, and for those of you that don't know me, I am the founder and CEO of DoctoralNet and MastersNet, both of which are portals and apps sold to universities to help graduate students have an easier time through their studies. This particular video is for doctoral students, whether you're professional doctorates or PhDs, and this will go through some case studies of some students, and you'll get to see how the tools will benefit you. I just want to start by saying that if you go to SlideShare/DoctoralNet, there will be a set of slides on these case studies, which are the slides we're using today, and they will have the URLs and links that you'll need. So this is meant to be both a video and slide demonstration. Our goals are to help you find what you need when you need it, because part of the learning journey is that we don't know what we don't know until all of a sudden we're up against some kind of a boundary or a border, and we have to get past it. So we're going to use the experience of some students to help you see where you might go when the time comes. Through that agenda of the case study of 3 students, we're going to plot the doctoral journey, talk about what you'll get to help you progress your academic writing, to improve your critical thinking, to develop your research, and then how you win at the end game of Viva or final defense. We'll also go through some tools for work-life balance and continuous support. But as we get started, I think we should focus on the difference between masters, undergrads, and PhDs or doctoral studies. So what makes a master's different from an undergrad is an increased ability to think critically, to read, comprehend, dissect, analyze, build arguments, and look at the arguments of others. From that viewpoint, to write about not just our knowledge of, but to show skill in academic writing, to develop our own ideas through our writing, to build arguments based on our analysis and built on the foundations of previous literature. All of those are required to increase at the PhD or doctorate level. And also your own research will develop. So the ability to build an argument, to design and execute research, to display advanced expertise in your field, and to defend those ideas in front of others is the essence of the PhD. So we all come to that at different levels of previous experience. And let's look at Emily's story. Emily has always been a straight A student. She's just starting her PhD, and she is someone who has learned previously that she gets ahead because she plans ahead. She's a doctor of education student, and she realizes that she doesn't know enough about what's entailed in the dissertation or thesis. She's a little insecure about the quality of her writing, and she knows she'll be expected to demonstrate how to think critically, but she's not sure exactly what that entails. So let's take these one by one. She doesn't know enough about what is entailed in a dissertation or thesis. And for that, she signs on to her university website, and we'll go there. When you first sign on to the site, you drop into something called your control panel. And she looks around. And what does she find? She finds a whole list down the right-hand side of webinars that she can look into. Some of them look very interesting. There's some box sets, which I'll tell you more about later, some ability, and she immediately downloads the apps because she finds herself a lot on her phone. But she's really looking for what can this site help me with as far as getting through the process. And she finds a couple of things. One is this map, which she opens up and it looks like this, and she opens it up more, and lo and behold, the entire site has outlined all the things she has to do with articles and complete steps. So that feels comforting to her. She can look at that. As she continues to look around, she goes to her account, and the fourth thing down is videos on demand. And when she goes there, she finds just what she's looking for. Begin with the end in mind for doctoral students. And this is a webinar about how to critically analyze final dissertations or thesis so that you know what yours needs to look like and what's required by your university. All the steps are laid out for her there. Well, it was a good start. Now she wants to address the fact that she is a bit insecure about the quality of her assignments in her writing. So she's going to review some academic writing basics. There's an on-demand video. We've seen where those are. There's a writing boost and some writing emails. So if we go back to the site, here's the writing basics, and later on you'll see that also there are writing subtleties. And down here there's one on avoiding unconscious plagiarism. Plagiarism is not as straightforward as just copying and pasting. So those are all things that she'll look into. But if she goes back to her main site into the resources, she comes to this, which has at the top opt-ins and box sets. These are open educational resources. And opt-ins are experiences that are delivered to you on the web in over the course of multiple days. So a couple of them are 30-day challenges, one for writing and one for work-life balance. What she's going to opt in for, because she's looking for academic writing basics, are the Friday academic writing emails. This means that she'll get one email for as long as she continues her subscription every Friday with a little bit of information about academic writing. It's a good way to kind of salt and pepper your understanding over time. And she's also going to go for the 10-day academic writing boost, which is a series of 10 5-minute videos that are quite dense about what is entailed in academic writing. Emily's not the kind of student who just stops with the basics. She understands that she needs to continue upgrading her understanding of writing subtleties. So she'll set aside some time to come back to these tools every so often. And she'll find that there's the list of ongoing webinars, which will consistently have something of interest for her. When she goes back to the box sets, she sees that there's a box set of academic writing tools and concepts. Now, what makes a box set? They are here, and they are one email that has a lot of things in it. So it's a 4, 5, 6, 7 videos, some written material, some checklists about particular topics. And in academic writing, she's going to go for the academic writing. Later on, she's also interested in critical thinking, and as we know, and she'll go for the critical thinking, reading, writing, and analysis. But these are good to come back to later on for literature review, for all different parts of the journey will have a box set available to it. And then when she goes back to the on-demands, as I mentioned, there's one on academic writing subtleties and on avoiding plagiarism. So now she's into this bigger, more amorphic conversation about critical thinking. And it is it's not the kind of thing that happens just once in the graduate journey, but it's something that develops over the graduate journey. So she starts by doing a search on the website. She's back here in her control panel, and at the very top there's this live search. And when she types in critical thinking, she sees that there's some exercises to develop it. There's an article on what it is. There's a few of the 5-minute videos that are part of the 30-day challenge that come up. She also sees that there's a box set, an on-demand video, and some upcoming webinars. So no matter what her learning style, she'll be able over time to pick up more information about how to think critically as it develops. Now, throughout your doctoral journey, there's the research. And for this, we're going to look at Jane's story. Jane wants to progress towards research mastery. She's also a working mom. So she's looking for tools to help her build her design. Later on, she'll be looking for tools to help her writing her research. Later, after her proposal stage, she'll look for data collection and analysis and finishing up tools. And throughout that entire journey, she's going to have work-life balance issues. So the doctoral level on the website works out in phases. Phase 1 is your starting. If you look at the menus, it's selecting your topic, beginning to look at your literature, or building a theoretical frame. Phase 2 is when you've got all those pieces together and you're ready to write your proposal. If you're in the United States, chapters 1, 2, and 3 for all parts of the world. And then after you have your data and you're doing your final analysis and developing your results and findings, that's phase 3. Some of you also need to be aware of phase 4, which is getting published. So you know where to go, and there's a great deal of content to support you. And as well as the ongoing webinars that pick up the subtleties of this. 80 different times a year, there will be a webinar on something of use to the doctoral journey. So in Jane's case, she first needs to build her design. I mentioned the phase 1. And there is an on-demand video about building your design. There's a box set. There's webinars. And then there are the tools that we call the automations or self-assessments. So topic, research problem, problem statement, assessing your research questions, assessing your population, assessing your sample, and assessing the coherence between your design and the literature. These are interactive, survey-oriented tools. You write, it asks questions. If you didn't have that included in part of your answer, you go back, you change it. You are asked yes or no, do you have these things included? You do the best you can. You end up printing it out and perhaps if you choose, sending it to your supervisor or committee chair for a conversation. It allows you to put your best foot forward and to understand the entire set of criteria that you'll be up against for each one of these. And then as you write, they're useful to come back to these to make sure that you've covered all the bases of those criteria. So she's made it through now her first phases. She's finally gotten her proposal approved, and she's done her data collection. She's beginning her analysis, and this is phase 3. So again, there's a lot of content areas, videos, checklists, etc. Any particular topic, you use the search, and she continues to go to conferences. But throughout all of this, she is challenged with work-life balance. She has a child, she has a part-time job, life is very, very full. So over the course of her years, she's found that at the beginning of each semester, the platform puts on a number of webinars that are geared towards positive growth and thinking and work-life balance. There's a skills development showcase on the control panel, and again an on-demand video. And one of her favorites was the 30-day work-life balance challenge. For 30 days, it presented her with a video with some good ideas. She chose a couple of things she wanted to enact in her own life. She started to take notes on them. Every 3 or 4 days, there would be a set of videos she could look at if she was interested. Little help along the way to get her to cement some new ways of working with her life so that she felt less stressed and more balanced. Now, not for Jane, but for one of her friends who was working at a distance from her campus and was very feeling isolated, she decided that she was going to partake in the 365 motivational emails. And every day, a little something, which was a good conversation about research or about writing or about just sticking the course, came. And on the days that she needed that little lift, she opened the email. And all of these on the app or on the control panel, there are down here motivational quotes. Some days we all just need a bit of a lift. Aaron is done with it, got his research, but he's challenged with the writing it up and getting it published. So this is Aaron. He understands his research. He's just nervous. He's not sure what goes where, how to build the right argument. He finds that when he writes, he says the same things over and over, so he wants to avoid redundancy, develop his own voice, and make sure that his argument is strong enough to publish. So phases 2 and 3 are the phases he will go to. And you can sign into your site. And once you're signed in, you copy and paste these after the .com, DoctoralNet.com. You paste these in, and they will take you to the areas that are specifically geared to helping you write your methodology, your review of literature, your introduction, your findings, and your discussion section. You also want to build your own voice, and that isn't something that happens overnight. You do it throughout your entire graduate career. And many of the resources talk about voice. Webinars often help. And the 30-day writing challenge has 3 or 4 days devoted to it. Getting published is its own journey, and for that reason we gave it its own path. Back to your control panel, you see that phase 4, getting published, just like all the rest, has a map to help you get through, has some hints about how to get it done, and then takes you step by step through the process of getting published, how you make your choices, where you go for, and there's also an on-demand video on it, and you've probably guessed it by now, a box set. And then there comes the final push. You're done, you're feeling good, but you have to make it through what is called in the United States your final defense, and what most of the world calls your viva. It has its own set of challenges. You're presenting your work and to an audience that has a great deal of power over how much more work you have to do to graduate. And you want to be prepared to answer their questions, to speak on your feet, to make the very best defensible presentation that you can. So those things are covered again in an on-demand video, 3 of them actually. Getting your docs ready for the end game helps you do your final revisions. Surviving your final defense helps you know about what it's like from the examiner's point of view, what questions you're likely to come up against. And then the whole topic of presentations is covered both for the final events and for anyone who is participating in a 3-minute thesis competition. There's a box set that gives you a lot of these pieces as well. And soon we will have learning snippets, which are little pieces of 5-minute topics that will also cover these ideas. So we've talked about a lot of kinds of support. There are just a few that haven't been mentioned. Some of you may have been at it for quite a while, and this can get to be discouraging. It can happen because of illness, because of issues in your family, for many, many reasons. You change of jobs, etc. And when you find yourself discouraged because you've been at it too long, we suggest you join the Lingerers group. You'll find it on the resources. It's an opt-in for ABDs or those who are moving forward with your thesis, or lingerers, and then you'll receive an invitation. We meet 4 times during a semester, and the group talks about what may have been challenging for them, and we offer suggestions about getting back on a good set of skills and daily work to help you get it done. There's also a box set that covers that kind of material. Feeling isolated, I mentioned the 365s. I'll mention them again. They're really a little upbeat piece of information coming every day. And some of you may be very near the end and wanting to translate this graduate school experience to employment skills. We have 2 box sets aimed at the World Economic Forum list of 10 skills we all need for the 4th Industrial Revolution. We have a box set on the cognitive skills and a box set on the soft skills. That's a lot. I hope that breaking it down into the case studies was helpful for you to see how they might go together. And I would suggest, where do you get started? The priorities would be to download the app. You as a university customer, subscriber through your university, you need to sign into the app with your university email, and then it will be your university's version of the app that you can use. Sign up for webinars. It's good to be part of that international group. Most people find them highly motivating. And take 30 minutes for yourself and just explore what your University.DoctoralNet website has to offer you. If you need any particular help in any way, please don't hesitate to email Margie, M-A-R-G-I-E, at DoctoralNet.com. And with that, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful and enlivening graduate experience.